Welcome to an out-of-the-box playthrough. Today I am going to be looking at Warp Lancer. Warp Lancer is a solo card, dice, placement game of space exploration and combat. In this game you are aiming to fly through 6 sectors. We have a sector navigation map and we move through sectors one at a time and defeating different challenges in each sector. The aim is to get to the end, and when you get to the end there is a big mothership boss to attack, and this then allows you to build your ship up, and you've got a big challenge at the end of it. The game comes with 4 different configurations of sectors, so there's a lot of variety there. And I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to do Alpha Sector today. The sectors have branches, and depending on which branch you pick, different things happen. So if you go into a red branch, you'll get a hostile. If you get a purple branch, there'll be a nebula which changes the fighting conditions. In a clear one, nothing exciting happens. It's a normal sector. So you've got choices of whether you want multiple clear ones, then more nebulas, or go through different ways. And again, it all comes down to how you customize your ship, which comes to a good point to say what we have for ships. So there are 4 different ship configurations. These are double-sided cards that I've just built with print and play. And each ship has a unique loadout in terms of what systems it starts with and what systems, the maximum systems you can have. So if we look at this one, this is the Anvil. It starts with 12 hulls, 6 systems you can have. You're allowed 3 augments and you're allowed 4 weapons. You've got an initial loadout of engine, sensors, shield, weapon control, basic launcher, rapid fire laser, and then a configuration for your cargo hold. So you take that, and that allows you to populate this part of the area where I've got my engine, my sensors, my weapon control, and my shields. Shards, which I've got here, I start with 3, is like the currency of this game, and for every 5 shards you can convert that into a crystal, and a crystal allows you to power your different systems. I'll talk about that in a minute. You can also spend shards if you end up in a space station that may have a shop. We also have our hull. So we have this one. This ship's got a maximum of 12. So you put little black cubes to mark off those because that's the maximum your hull can go. You also have a shield, which I've currently I've not powered my shield, so that is currently on 0. You have missiles if you have a missile launcher, and then you have weapons. And so my basic configuration for this ship is a rapid fire laser, which attacks with 3d6. So we use d6s in this, but I need 3 crystals to power it. I've also got a basic launcher that does a 1d6 attack, does 2 damage, and it ignores shields, so that's pretty handy. And that takes 1 crystal to power. So all of your systems, whether it's your weapons or your standard ship systems, get improved with more crystals. So for example, if I look at, say, weapon control, if I've got 0 on it, my weapons are offline. Maybe I'll zoom that up. 0 on it. If I have 1 on it, my weapons are online, so I can actually use them. If I have a 2 to 3 crystals, I get a +1 on my roll. If I have 4 to 5 crystals, I have +2 on my rolls. If I have 6, I get +3 on my rolls. And this is a familiar configuration across all of your systems, whether it's your shields, your engines, your sensors. You get different bonuses for the crystals that you have on them. And as you play the game, you will acquire more crystals, but also even within a turn, there's opportunities to reconfigure your ship. And so that allows you to move your crystals around depending on what's happening. And you can even do that within a battle. And so that's quite useful as well. If you say you've run out of missiles, you could move your crystal from your missile launcher onto your weapon control to improve your chances of hitting for the next round. Missiles countdown, you can also sell them. The other thing that you can customize is your pilot. So there are 5 pilots that you get with the core game, and each of them have a starting bonus and an ability. So I'm having with Tariq, and he has +1 to mine wreck rolls, so that's one of the conditions that can pop up, but also he gets a bonus 2 crew. So somewhere along here, where is it? Here, I've got crew. If you run out of crew, game over. When we move from quadrant to quadrant, we use a piece of technology called a warp. We are a warp lancer, and we need to have a warp at the end. So I start with 2 warps, which is handy. So in terms of a sector plays out in terms of, we have these beacons, which are basically events that are happening. There are 16 beacons. I'll give them a bit quick shuffle. Every sector, we have to go through all 16, but we go through them 2 at a time. So we will flip over one that we can see and one that's hidden. We can either decide to engage with the one that's, so for example, we would do this. We can either decide to engage with the Devote bomber and attack it, or we can say, I don't like that one, I'm going to discard it, and I'm going to spend a warp and then flip this over, and then you'd have to do it. So if you get one you really don't like, you can spend a warp. And so there's some decision making there. When you look at one of these, they have a different configuration for each sector that you're in. So when you're in sector 1, it's just a punch up fight, a standard fight. If it's in sector 2, it's got a slightly stronger ship. So the game scales both in terms of difficulty across what happens in the sector, also the events that you face as your ship improves. So it's got this really nice progressive system which is built in. And because we're doing 2 beacons every round, every turn, we go through those in 8. So basically we do 8 encounters, then we warp to the next sector. After 5 sectors, we can attack the mothership and try and win the game. We've got some other bits and pieces around here that'll pop out as necessary. If we get conditions or hazards, they will come into play. The other thing that's really neat about this is that because all the ships have got different configurations, you're going to have an engine, a sensor, and a weapon control. Maybe you'll have a cloaking device. There might be some other things you can have. Every card has a loot on the back. So if it's not part of your configuration, it goes into the loot deck. The loot deck is more equipment. So you've got new weapons, you've got upgrades to current systems, you've got all kinds of repair droids. So your loot, so everything in the game is accessible, whether it's in your initial loadout or you can get it through loot. You get loot by blowing up enemy ships, looting the those ships. Maybe you run across a space station or a trader and you can spend shards to get things. You can sell things back at space stations. You can sell missiles at a reduced rate. The cards will tell you what you can do. So that's a brief overview. The easiest thing to do is probably to run a couple of beacons, and you can see how it plays out. So I'm going to have an initial configuration. I'm going to power my weapons, because when you encounter a ship the first time, you work with the configuration you've got. So there's no point, but after you attack, there's a reconfiguration phase. So if I need to power my shields, I can do that later. So I'm going to power all my weapons, and I'm going to put 2 of my sensors, because that will get me a +1, -1 on an event condition. So if something pops up like a space station, there's lots of different variants of space stations. I can use the +1, -1 to help me there. I'm not fighting yet. It's kind of be useful to have something on the weapon control, but let's see. So first turn. Okay, drifting ship. So I roll the dice now. So with something like a drifting ship, it's got a D1, and it can go from really good, you find a whole lot of stuff, you spend something. So this would cost me 2 missiles and I'd get 4 shards and a warp, which would be great, through to a strange device in the hold, -1 crew, but I get to get something from I draw a loot card. So that wouldn't be too bad either. So I've got some dice, maybe I'll stick that there, and let's see what we get. And because I've got 2 crystals on my sensors, I get a +1, -1 on the roll. So if I get something like a 1, which I actually want, I'm going to keep it. So that other beacon goes into the discards. A 1 was it's a destroyed Federation ship. It's going to cost me 2 missiles. So I'll spend my 2 missiles, but I gain 4 shards and 1 warp. So I have another warp, and I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, because I've completed that beacon, there's a nice summary thing at the end. We can do an upkeep where we can transform shards into crystals, equip systems, move things in and out, rearrange what we want to do. Then we discard the beacon. Because I've got, I think it's 5 to swap it out. Yeah, it's definitely 5. So I'm going to spend 5 shards. So I've got 7, I'll go down to 2, and I'm going to grab myself a new crystal. Hurrah. And so then the question is, well, I'm going to go to my next beacon. I think I'm going to throw that on weapon control, because then I'll get a +1 to my roll attacks. So again, it's about juggling what you've got. So the next beacon, empty space. You warp. Okay, you can scan for hostiles, the no attack. So that was a good one. Because I'm trying to get through. Oh, okay. So this is, now I've got a decision. Do I keep this one, or do I use a warp to take the random one there? If we have a look at this one a bit closer, it is +2. The hull has got +2 per sector, so it's only going to be a 3. It's 5 to hit it, which is a bit harder. And it's got no shields. If I beat it, I'll get 3 shards and a warp. And it's got a 2 laser, so a 2d6 laser. That's not too bad. I think I can take that one. So I'll discard that one, because I don't want that one, and we'll get some. So what you then do is you pull down this one and you configure it. So it's got no shields, so that's easy, and it's got hull is 2 plus sector, so it's going to be 3. So that's who I'm going to be fighting. I'm going to grab that. First of all, make sure that I'm doing what I'm doing. Battle conditions, there's no conditions. Generate enemy shields, it doesn't have any. We attack with our weapons. So I'm going to attack with my missiles. So that's 1d6. And I will get a 5. And because I got a +1, because of my weapon control, that's a 6. That's going to hit. It's going to cost me a missile, but I will do 2 damage, which is handy. And then I will fire my rapid fire laser, 3d6. Ooh, that's rubbish. So those ones are nothings. 4 plus 1 gives me a 5. I need a 5 to hit it, and I will do 1 damage. And so, boom. Don't even have to go to the enemy term. That one's destroyed. And then I get 3 crystals, 3 shards, 1, 2, 3, and another warp. Ka-ching. So now I'm in the, well, before I discard that, I get to do some reconfiguration, and I got a decision to make. I could spend my 5 shards, get another crystal, or I could keep my 5 shards on the hope that maybe I run into a space station and have some money to spend, buy some new equipment. It's early in the game. I'm going to go cautious, so I am going to spend my 5, get a new crystal, and now it's a question, isn't it? Because I need to put 4 on my weapons control to make that useful. So I might as well stick it on my engine, but I don't need it on my engine because I can reconfigure that as necessary. So if I put 3 on here, it's not going to help my weapon control unless I put it on there and I take 1 off the sensors. Now I've got 4, I get +2 on my attack rolls. I don't get my +1, -1 on the sensors, so I'm going to have to take whatever I get. But I quite like the idea of having more attack. Right, let's do another beacon. So I'll have that one. Ooh, red giant. So this is where so I've got a red giant. I've got no choice. I could warp, but it's got some fun stuff. I could get some crystal. I could get some. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this one because I could get some more shards. So we roll the dice, and I get a 3. Oh, what do I lose then? Nothing. Okay, so a 3 will get me a Federation ship in peril. Oh, so that's a fire. 1 fire. I get 5 shards. I think that's 1 fire. Pretty sure that's the fire condition. So then, okay. So we look up our condition. I'm going to get a fire. Fire rages in your ship. In battle, in the event, explore it once and then remove it. So I've got no choice with that. So the fire's happened. I roll the dice. And again, the +1 would have been useful. I get a 6. And a 6 is the fire is extinguished. Remove the fire condition. That's handy. So I did my fire. And I get 5 shards and 1 crew member. So I get my 5 shards. I get an extra crew member, but I'm already full. But now those are gone. I got 5 shards again, so I can spin those and get a new crystal. And I can stick that on the sensors. And so you seem like I'm building up lots of crystals, but you need to do that at Sector 1 because by the time you get to the later sectors, it gets very busy. Okay, so now we've got a slave trader. Offers you a deal to fight. Oh, okay. For 5 shards, they'll leave me alone. They will sell me a crew member. Don't need a crew member. I have no money. So I have no choice. So, I could warp. Why don't we do that? So I say, I don't want to do that one. I'm going to spend a warp. And we'll turn over this one and see whatever it is. It's a Tekyan Scout. Okay. And we have no choice. So we're revving up to fight it. It has 2 lasers, 1 missile, no shields. And I'll get some shards if I defeat it. So its hull is 3 plus sector, so it's going to be 4. No shields, so +4 to hit. I should be able to take that one out fairly easily. Right, let's get some dice. This time I'm going to go with my lasers first. I've got 3 lasers. Oh, that's pretty good. So that's 3 hits because I get +2 to my rolls. So that means I've basically got 6s. So that's 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to fire a missile. And I get a 2, which makes it a 4. And I need 4 to hit. So even a hit with a 2. And it's destroyed. Like I say, Sector 1 is easy. I've never got past Sector 4. So it is a hard game and it does ramp up. But that's good. I want that in my solo game. So makes me come back to keep on playing it. So I get 3 shards and 3 missiles. So I'm up to 9. Okay, let's see what we've got next. Oh, space station. I think I'm going to keep that. I like a space station. So we're at a space station, and there's lots of options. So you roll the dice. It's either a floating city, an outpost, a science hub. So we'll get the dice back again. Because I've got 2 crystals on my sensors, I get a +/-1, so I can pick something good. I get a 1. So I've got a choice of a floating city, which has something to buy, or an outpost, which allows me to do some repairs. I haven't taken any damage, so I don't care about that. What this means is that you flip over how many loot, and that's basically the shop. So if I go to the floating city, I've got 3 to shop from. If I go to the outpost, I've only got 2. I'll go to the floating city. That seems like a fun place to go. And we will flip over 3. Ooh, and I've got 3 shards, which is a bit rubbish. Okay. So I think I can sell stuff as well. So I can sell missiles for -2 missiles for 1 shard. So I've only got 3, so I'm not going to be able to afford the 10. Probably not going to fill the mine. The cognitive defense gives me +2 on a mine wreck condition, but I've already got a +1 with Tariq, so I don't really care about that. So the question is, do I want a repair droid? When the ship gains shards as a reward, you may spend 2 shards to repair 1 hull. Use this ability once per reward. That is really useful. So if you get some shards in and you need hull, it means you don't have to wait to find a space station to do repairs. That's going to cost me 5. I can sell 4 missiles for 2, which I will. And that will give me 5. And I'm going to buy the repair droid. But then I guess that's a trade-off. I've spent 5 on the repair droid where I could have bought a crystal. But I'm going to do that, and that goes under my shields. Might move those up a little bit so you can see a bit better. So I've now got an augment on my shields, which is handy. And of course, my ship has a limit of 3 augments. So if I wanted to get 4, if I got a 4th one, I'd have to chuck one out. That's the end of the space station. Right, we're getting through the beacons. Okay, a bomber. 5+ sector. Yeah, I think we can take him. So we're going to take him and see how he goes. 5+ sector, so that makes him a 6 hull. He has a shield of 1. And he's going to attack with 2 missiles. So I don't need shields, so that's not going to help. But we're up first, so let's give it a go. So I'm going to go with my missiles. Well, I'll go with the missiles. Doesn't worry about shields, I think here. So I will go with my 3 rapid lasers. Oh, that's going to give me 3 6s. So that's going to take 3. So 1 off the shields, and then 2 off the hull. Then I'll fire a missile, which I've only got 4 left. You get a 3, 4, 5. I need a 4, so that's going to do 2 damage. Okay. Right, now in between my attack and the enemy's attack, I can reconfigure. And so I can look at him and go, ooh, if he only had lasers, I could pump up my shield and they just bounce off. Because he's got missiles, it's not going to help. If they hit, they're going to go through shields. So I want to reduce my chances of being hit. So I can take what I've got, my sensors. I don't need my sensors to battle. So I can move them both. Well, I don't need both. Well, if I move 2, they're going to need 3 to hit. If I take 1, I think I'm confident to destroy them. So I'll take a couple from my weapon control. And that will, I don't need, I might as well do that so I don't forget. So I've now got 4 on my engine, which means they're going to need a +4 to hit, which is better than a +3. So they're going to attack me with 2 missiles. Oh, they get a 5. Missiles do 1 damage, so I lose a hull point. Okay, now it's back to my turn. Their shields regenerate back up to 1. And I'm going to attack with my lasers. Now I've only got a +1 on the roll, but I'm confident. I need a 4, so that's going to hit. So I do 2 hits. Well, 1 off the shields and 1 off the main. Now I'll fire a missile. Get a 4, which is a 5, which is 2 damage. They are toast, which is great. And so now if I can go, I killed them and I'm going to get 4 shards, but I can use my repair droid and spend 2 of those to repair my hull point. And I'll get the other 2 in cash. And I get 3 missiles through salvage. And they're gone. And now we get into the end. This is the last beacon. So what do we got? Asteroid field. Oh, now I've just done a newbie mistake. At the end of the beacon, I should have reconfigured my sensors and my ships, but I didn't because I forgot. Too late now. I am in the asteroid field. I could warp away from it, but we'll give it a go. How bad can it be? I've still got, no, I don't have a +1 on my dice because I didn't reconfigure a ship. So you've got to remember, after a battle, fix it. So I get a 4, and a 4 is, oh, there's a AI ship pops up that I have to fight. And because I'm in an asteroid field, we have to pull out that as well. So we've got an asteroid field hazard. You promptly raise your shield and engage with maneuvers. Explore at the end of your turn. The hazard is removed at the end of the battle phase. So I have to roll a dice now. Oh, this is going to get busy. So the AI scout is 2+ sector, which isn't too bad. It's only 3. It has no shield, which is handy. End of my turn. Okay, so first of all, because I didn't reconfigure, I'm stuck with what I've got, which is a bit of a pain because I would really have liked to pump up my weapon control. So we'll fire our lasers. We've got a +1, and we need to get a 6. This could be a long battle. Oh, well, I got 2 natural 6s, so that's 2 hits, which is pretty handy. And I'll fire a missile and get a 3, which is a 4, so that's going to miss. Okay, end of my turn. There we go. Hazard's fallen off the board. We have to do this now, so we have to roll a dice. End of my turn. We roll our asteroid field dice. End of my turn. Do I do my shields first? End of your turn. Oh no, it's not the end of my turn yet. I can turn it up. I'm in an asteroid field. I am gonna. What is he going to attack with? He's got 3 lasers. I'm going to pump up my shields. So I don't need my sensors. So 3 will get me +1. Do I want him to hit me? +3 to hit. But then if he hits me, he's going to do 3 damage. If I have 2 shields, +1 to hit. He's only got, I can hit, I don't think I'm going to get him next turn. I'd need 6s though. We'll give that a go. Shields, well, 3's no good then. I need 4. So this is where, okay, I'm going to take off, maybe I'll take off my missiles and I'll stick that on there. So I'll take my missiles offline. That will get me 2 shields. So I've charged my shields up. Now we do the end of my turn. So I do the asteroid field and we roll a dice for that. And we get a 3, and a 3 says you managed to evade the asteroids. Okay, that's handy. Now, the AI scout is going to attack with 3 lasers. One of them is a 3, and the other ones were on the edge. I'm going to re-roll those. Now, I'll keep the 3 because that's be cheating. The other one is definitely a 3. Okay, and I've got engine of 2, so they need 3+ to hit. So they get 3 hits, which is unhelpful. So I take 1, 2 on my shields, and then take a hull. Okay, then it's back to my turn, and we're going to do our lasers. They haven't got any shields. We've got +1 on our roll. We need a 5 or a 6. We get a 6. AI Scout is toast. And that gets us 3. And I'm going to spend 1 with my repair droid. And I'll get the other one as cash. And we get 1 loot card for free. It's a dual laser, which only cost me 2 to power. But what I'm going to do is, before anything else, reconfigure my ship. And I think I'm going to stick that on here, that on there. I quite like my rapid fire. I've got my dual laser. I don't need to power it up. When I run out of missiles, then I might power up all my lasers. So I'm reconfigured. That's good. End of the that's the end of sector 1. So now I've got a choice. I can either, so I'll make this a bit bigger. So I can either go to sector 2 in a normal one, let's play through it again. But then the next time I'm going to either have to do a hostile or a nebula. If I do a nebula now, then the next one I could go for is a normal one as they get harder. But then I'd have to do a hostile. So, this is your choices. I think I'm going to go downwards. I'm going to go to the nebula. I'll pull that out. So that means the nebula has a hazard, which is you can flee at the end of your turn. Choosing the distance beacon doesn't cost any warp. Your sensors cannot have crystals assigned to it, and its augment is disabled. Okay, so that's pretty handy. So no sensors, but I can put put those on there. I can put 2 on there, and I've got better guns. So that's actually not too bad. And what you then do is you would shuffle up your beacons, and again 2 at a time, and work your way through them. There you go. That is sector 1 of Warp Lancer. I hope you found that informative. Like I say, I'm probably going to carry on playing this, see how far I get. It's a great little solo game, lots of meaningful choices, and it's really easy to forget some of the orders, but once you get into the flow of it, it becomes very natural moving your crystals around. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and like.